Good morning. It is 11:30 Eastern Time, and that means it's time for another episode of First Chapter Fun. Interestingly, Facebook just booted me out, and I'm hoping that it won't do that again. So, in case Facebook chucks me out again because it doesn't like what I'm doing or saying, apparently, I'll try not to take it personally. I will continue recording, I will continue broadcasting on Instagram down here on the iPad, and if Facebook boots me out, I will go back to my iPhone and start the recording again once I'm done on Instagram. So if on Facebook you suddenly lose me, it's not you, it's me, or it's the technical gremlins who are out in full force. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Hope you're all well. I see lots of people already joining on Instagram and on Facebook. We have Dale, we have Carla, we have Kaylee, we have Margaret, we have Danielle Girard. I read for Danielle last week. We have Michelle, we have Jennifer Rosner, and I'm reading from Jennifer's book today, and Jennifer Jumper as well, my favourite librarian in Cleveland, of course, and Amanda, who regularly joins. There's so many people who are picking up these episodes and watching. Good morning, Hank, to mention one of many who I regularly watch these episodes, and it's just absolutely wonderful that you join me for this every day. So as always, I will record the broadcast once I'm done to Instagram and to Facebook. And Jennifer Rosner, from whose book I'm reading today, of course, is watching, and you can leave questions for her, questions and comments. So this is a historical fiction novel that I'll be reading from. So, you know, maybe ask about the research, how she went about that, or what inspired her to write historical fiction and not in a different genre, or something else that you'd like to ask. Just fire those questions off on Instagram once I've posted it, I guess, or right now on the story because Jennifer is watching, or on Facebook as well. So, funny thing today, I was getting ready for First Chapter Fun, you know, put on a bit of makeup. I did, really, and did something with my fluffy hair, and I put on some perfume, and I thought, why am I doing that? So in case you wondered, I smell rather lovely. It's Elizabeth Arden's green tea scent spray, whatever. So yeah, weird. Anyway, moving swiftly on, I'm going to introduce you to Jennifer Rosner, who has written this beautiful book, The Yellow Bird Sings. There we go. It's out now. It published, oh gosh, I'm trying to find the date it published. March, I think, March the 3rd, but it is out now. I know there's a lot of glare, so you can't perhaps see it that well, but it's out now, published by Flatiron Books. So I'm delighted to introduce you to, Dale just said, yay, my favourite genre, fantastic. So let me introduce you to Jennifer. And I've said this before, but author, I'm going to take these off again. Author backgrounds amaze me. I think authors are such, not other people aren't, but because I'm doing this series and looking at the bios and reading the bios of the authors who have agreed to me reading for them. And I'm just amazed at their backgrounds. It's incredible. And Jennifer is no different. So The Yellow Bird Sings, available now from Flatiron Books, is Jennifer's debut historical fiction novel. So first of all, congratulations, Jennifer, for having your first book published. That is such a milestone, so exciting. So The Yellow Bird Sings tells the story of a Jewish mother and her child hiding for their lives during World War II, and is grounded in interviews, travel and historical research. Jennifer previously published a memoir, If a Tree Falls, about raising her deaf daughters in a hearing-speaking world and discovering genetic deafness in her family dating back to the 1800s. In both the novel and memoir, she explores themes of silence and sound, loneliness and connection. Her short writings have appeared in the New York Times, the Massachusetts Review, the Forward and elsewhere. And in addition to writing, Jennifer teaches philosophy. She received her BA from Columbia University and her Ph.D. from Stanford University. She has taught at Stanford and at Mount Holyoke College, and currently she teaches the Clemente Course in the Humanities, a college-level course for women living in economic distress. And you can find out more about Jennifer on her website, which is jennifer-rosner.com. And it is, without a doubt, one of the cutest author websites I have ever seen. Has a tree. Don't go looking now, but look afterwards. Jennifer-rosner.com. It has a tree, and then when you go into, if you click on books, the tree separates. It's so cute. It's so cute. So the book I'm reading from today is The Yellow Bird Sings. Let me get that cover for you again. There you go. I hope you can see that. I know there's a lot of glare. It doesn't really do it justice. It's a beautiful cover. It really is. It's lovely. So let me read you the blurb. So this is The Yellow Bird Sings. In Poland, as World War II rages, a mother hides with her young daughter, a musical prodigy whose slightest sound may cost them their lives. As Nazi soldiers round up the Jews in their town, Rosa and her 5-year-old daughter Shira flee, seeking shelter in a neighbour's barn. Hidden in the hayloft day and night, Shira struggles to stay still and quiet, as music pulses through her and the farmyard outside beckons. To soothe her daughter and pass the time, Rosa tells her a story about a girl in an enchanted garden. The girl is forbidden from making a sound, so the yellow bird sings. He sings whatever the girl composes in her head, high-pitched trills of piccolo, low-throated growls of contrabassoon. Music helps the flowers bloom. In this make-believe world, Rosa can shield Shira from the horrors that surround them, but the day comes when their haven is no longer safe, and Rosa must make an impossible choice, whether to keep Shira by her side or give her a chance to survive apart. Inspired by the true stories of Jewish children hidden during World War II, Jennifer Rosner's debut is a breathtaking novel about the unbreakable bond between a mother and a daughter. Beautiful and riveting, The Yellow Bird Sings is a testament to the triumph of hope, a whispered story, a bird song, even in the darkest of times. Doesn't that sound wonderful? All right, let me get the cover back up for you. Here we are. The glare is so bad. If I tilt it, I hope you can see that. Glennie just said she loves the cover. That's great. And Ali has joined too. Wonderful. Okay, so are you ready? I will read you now chapter 1. This is The Yellow Bird Sings by Jennifer Rosner. The girl is forbidden from making a sound, so the yellow bird sings. He sings whatever the girl composes in her head. High-pitched trills of piccolo, low-throated growls of contrabassoon. The bird chirps all the musical parts, save percussion, because the barn rabbits obligingly thump their back feet, like bass drums, like snares. The lines for violin and cello are the most elaborately composed, rich and liquid smooth, except when fear turns the notes gruff and choppy. Music helps the flowers bloom. When the daisies grow abundant, the bird weaves a garland for the girl to wear on her head like a princess, though no one can see. She must hide from everyone in the village, soldiers, the farmhouse boys, the neighbours too. The lady with squinty eyes and blocky shoes just dragged a boy down the street and returned, smug and straight-backed, cradling a sack of sugar like a baby. When giants tromp past, the bird holes up in a knot in the rafter, silent and still. Tending the garden must wait. The girl, music trapped inside, buries herself under hay. She imagines her mother whispering their nightly story or whisper singing her favourite lullaby. She holds tight to her blanket and tries to fall asleep, sniffing in vain for the faded scent of home. Chapter 1. Poland, Summer 1941. A brooding heat permeates the tight space of the barn loft, no larger than 3 strides by 4. The boards are rough-hewn and splintery, and the rafters run at sharp slants, making the pitch too low for Rosa to stand anywhere but in the centre. Silken webs wad the corners and thin shards of sunlight bleed through cracks. Otherwise, it is dark. Kneeling, Rosa pats down a dense pad of hay for Shira to lie on. She positions her by the wall across from the ladder, then covers her with more hay. Rosa makes a spot for herself in front of her daughter, angled so she can keep her eyes on the door. Her heart still hammers in her chest. Not an hour ago, Henrik's wife, Christina, barreled in to corner a chicken and discovered them crouching behind a hay cart. Rosa swallowed a startled gasp and tightened her hold on Shira. Christina's eyes darted to the wall hung with tools, trowels and spades, shovels, a pitchfork. Then she slowly backed out. A few moments later, Henrik stepped in. His expression was deeply troubled, but his hands held 2 potatoes each. We have boys of our own. We'll all be killed. The dirt-packed floor shuddered beneath Rosa's feet. There were prizes for denunciations, a bag of sugar per Jew. Her mind raced with what currency she could offer: yeast and salt from the bakery, coins, 3 of her grandmother's rubies sewn into the hem of a coat, if necessary, her wedding ring. Had she misjudged them? Henrik frequented their bakery before the war. He had been friendly, maybe even a little flirtatious, when Rosa worked at the counter. Sometimes he brought his son Peter, and each would eat a jam-filled cookie in one bite, smiling and batting away the powdered sugar that clung to their lips. They were grateful to her family. Her uncle, Jacob, a medical doctor, tended to Peter when he came down with rubella. Rosa believed they'd help, at least at the start. I beg you, just for a night or 2. No more. Henrik cleared equipment from the loft and forked up hay. Rosa followed closely as Shira scampered up the ladder. Now they lie here, still and silent. Rosa asks herself, where will we go next? Not back to Gracia, not after what happened to Nathan, shot dead after a week's hard labour, and her parents herded out of their apartment onto cattle trucks. And not to the woods, where her cousin Labe had gone, with no guarantee of food or shelter. Come winter, with the forest's frigid temperatures, Shira could not survive it. So, where? Rosa scours her mind but finds no answer. Tonight's contingency is Henrik's root cellar, to the side of the farmhouse, if vacating the barn becomes necessary. The loft boards are hard on Rosa's back and buttocks, and a splinter of hay stabs at her neck, yet she holds still until Shira drifts to sleep. Then she shifts position, ever so slightly, in a slow, soundless motion. In the afternoon, Henrik places a water bucket and 2 clean rags inside the barn door. Rosa and Shira pad silently down the ladder. After they drink their fill, Rosa submerges her arms in the water, the coolness loosening her whole being. She wipes Shira clean first, taking the dirt and grime from her cheeks and neck with slow, gentle turns of the cloth. Patiently, indulgently, she swabs Shira's hands, cupped tight as if cradling something, a habit started after her father didn't return, moving the cloth quickly between each of Shira's fingers, then sponging her wrists and upper arms. She sends Shira flitting up to the loft and begins on herself, unbuttoning her shirt to reach her chest, her back, and the space under her arms. The water trickles down her sides. Rosa catches it with a cloth and carries it upward, along her body, taking care to rub away her odour. She sponges until she senses a slight shift outside the barn. Henrik? He lingered after delivering the bucket, she thinks, and is now watching her through a crack in the lower barn wall. Her breath grows shallow. She looks down at her exposed breasts, her taut stomach, her jutting hips. Her first instinct is to turn away, but she holds herself still. They will be fed tonight, sheltered. She douses the cloth again and continues on, the feel of Henrik's eyes watching her, seeing her. Later in the day, Rosa peers through a gap in the loft boards and glimpses Christina inside the farmhouse, agitated, arguing with Henrik. She is shaking her head hard, causing the baby, Lucas, to slip sideways down her hip. Rosa sinks low to the loft floor. Henrik enters the barn and begins forking hay out in large piles, blocking the sightline from the neighbouring fields and the road. The farmhouse, white with carved shutters painted a cheery blue, is smaller than the barn and does not fully occlude the view from the road, especially where it curves. The tavern must be somewhere close by, because already Rosa can hear carousing. At nightfall, Rosa shows Shira how to wrap her fingers in the clean corner of a rag to make a toothbrush, and how to relieve herself in a bucket filled with straw that Henrik will afterward mix with the animals' hay and waste. Henrik brings a different bucket with food in it, boiled cabbage and turnips. "Christina sent this for you, just for tonight. She's very frightened." Rosa nods, grateful. Back beneath hay, Rosa presses the heels of her hands to her eyes. Spots of yellow and black bloom there, spreading like spilled dye. They chase away the images of Nathan and her parents. Eventually she opens her eyes to find Shira watching, enchanted, as two rabbits hop sideways on a hail bay and scurry about. If Shira misses her bedtime rituals from home, a drawn bath, warm milk with nutmeg and honey, snuggles from her grandparents, she doesn't show it. On her leg, her fingers tap out the rhythm to some elaborate melody only she hears in her head. Christina enters an hour later, stern and stiff-postured, her lips pulled into a straight line, but she's brought more water and a bit of bread. Rosa can neither thank Christina nor admonish Shira before the girl flits down the loft ladder and, with a dramatic bow, offers Christina a small rectangle of woven hay she's made. Christina's face softens. Her eyes grow kind. Shira scrambles back to the loft and into Rosa's arms. That was the beautiful first chapter, prologue and first chapter of The Yellow Bird Sings by Jennifer Rosner. Let me get that angle properly. So tricky. There we go. I know you've got a lot of glare, but trust me, it's a beautiful cover. Go look it up. Not now, I'm not done yet, but it is. It's a lovely cover, a lovely book. And jennifer-rosner.com is where you'll find all of the details, and that's that really, really cute website that I mentioned off the top. I hope you enjoyed this episode even, of First Chapter Fun. Historical fiction is always lovely to read. It's very different from reading a thriller. It's just, I don't know, it's just a gentler pace, I suppose. And it's quite lovely to do historical fiction in between the thriller reads. So let me tell you about tomorrow. It is a thriller tomorrow. And tomorrow we have Keep Her Safe by K.A. Tucker. Kathleen, friend of mine and one of my idols. She is incredible, and I'll tell you all about her and her lovely book tomorrow. So that will be... Jennifer just said thank you so much. You're very welcome. I hope that was okay. always nerve-wracking reading for authors, particularly when they're watching, because you don't want to stumble and might have mispronounced a couple of words there. I hope I did all right. Oh, Margaret Cook just posted, and she said, "I've heard so many good things about this book." That's amazing. That's great. And we have Al, who says, "Lovely, very evocative, got me interested in the characters." Absolutely, yes, it is. It sounds like a brilliant book. So I will post this on Instagram and on Facebook, so you can watch it again if you're here at the beginning, or if you were joined partway through. These will all be saved. And I hope that I will see you tomorrow for Kathleen, or K.A. Tucker's book, Keep Her Safe. That will be at 11:30 a.m. as always on Instagram Live and on Facebook Live, because, we're living on the edge here, broadcasting two places at the same time. So until then, as always, please stay safe, stay kind, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.